Nom Nom delivers fresh food with whole ingredients backed by veterinarian science. Science tells us that a dog's health starts in the bowl, so improving their diet is one of the best ways to help them live a long and happy life. Nom Nom's food is full of proteins your dog loves and the vitamins and nutrients they need to thrive. All you have to do is order, pour, and serve. Ready to make the switch to fresh? Order Nom Nom today. Go to https://trynom.com/curveball and get 50% off your first order plus free shipping. That's https://trynom.com/curveball. Plus, Nom Nom comes with a money-back guarantee. If your dog's tail isn't wagging within 30 days, Nom Nom will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Nom Nom. Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by the Life is Too Short guy, Scott White. Scott is a writer. He is a real estate investor, expert, and he spends his time making the world smile with his infectious personality. He wants to influence the world one smile at a time. So we're going to be talking to him about everything that he's up to. So Scott, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you led with, right now, my big mission, my focus is the book that I launched earlier this year called The Life is Too Short Guy, Strategies to Make Every Day the Best Day Ever. And I'm out telling the story, sharing the principles. I've been doing a lot of speaking engagements, a lot of podcasts, trying to inspire, motivate, and make the world happier one smile at a time. So that's my primary focus at the moment. I'm also, and have a significant responsibility as chairman and CEO of a public real estate company. I'm also involved in a student housing development company. I am married with 2 daughters and living the dream.
So tell us about that real estate company, because that's a big deal.
So it's the name of the company is Invest, and we are the owner and operator of healthcare-oriented real estate assets. We own and operate some assisted living facilities, memory care facilities, a few skilled nursing facilities, although we're generally exiting that business, some medical office buildings. We own assets in about 16 or 17 different states, and we operate in about a half dozen states, and we've been around for about 8 years now.
That's pretty amazing. That sounds like you're doing some big things with your real estate company. So how did you come up with the phrase, life is too short? What made you come up with that phrase and stick with it?
So about two and a half years ago, I started working with a new executive coach. His name is Kevin, and Kevin interviewed me in the first session, and I filled out a bunch of assessments and tests. And then when we met for our second session, he says, dude, you are Mr. Life is Too Short guy. Everything is rah, get it done fast, get it done today. And I was like, I guess that's right. I never really thought of it that way. And then I mentioned it to my wife that night, and she said, maybe that's the book that you always wanted to write. Maybe it's The Life is Too Short guy. And, at first I was like, I can't imagine how that would be a book. And then I just started writing, and the rest became history. And now I'm out branding myself as The Life is Too Short guy, because that's how I live my life. It is truly who I am. It's not some marketing construct. I live every minute of every day to the maximum. I enjoy life. I'm positive. I'm grateful. I'm happy. And I'm trying to spread that energy to other people.
Okay, well, tell us about your student housing living companies, Spectra Student Living. Tell us why you created that. what it
Developer,
does?
owner, and operator of student housing in about 7 or 8 different states. We do ground up development, and then we own those assets and we operate those assets. We do student housing development adjacent to universities, not necessarily on university campuses, but purpose built specific to student housing adjacent to universities.
Okay, and what made you want to start that up, and how is that different, or how does that help students out more than living in a dorm? Do you go off their scholarships or their Pell Grants, or do they just
This
pay
is
rent?
usually for upperclassmen that either don't want to live on campus in the dorms anymore or at schools that don't have enough on campus housing. And I just saw this as an opportunity to invest in a different part of real estate. You know, my primary job, which is invests, owns, operates in one part of real estate, healthcare oriented real estate. And the student housing company, Spectra, focuses on a different type of real estate, that being student housing.
Okay, well, you're just a jack of all trades, because not only before you start doing all the great things that you're doing now, you spent time on Wall Street. So kind of tell us about that and what you did.
Well, I started my career on Wall Street back in 2000. I had just graduated from school and went right into investment banking. I worked at Citigroup in their investment banking business for about 9 years, first in the healthcare oriented business, then in the financial sponsors and fundraising business. Did that for about 9 years, and then I moved over to Brookfield, which is another major Wall Street player, where I worked more in the asset management and asset formation businesses. I did that for about 4 years before I pivoted to what I'm currently doing, which is much more real estate oriented. Had a great experience on Wall Street, learned a lot. Great place to cut your teeth, and it helped me formulate some of my theories and some of my beliefs around work and happiness and spending time doing the things you love to do.
Okay, well, you also have some ties with Rutgers University. So tell the listeners what the great things that you're doing at the university.
So both my wife and I are undergraduate and graduate majors. We both have BAs and MBAs or alums, I should say, from Rutgers. We had wonderful experiences there. We went to school there together, and since then have remained very active in the Rutgers community. It's a big part of who we are and how we identify ourselves. We like to give back to the university, try to help students. I've hired a lot of students over the years. I've mentored a lot of students over the years. I've mentored a lot of alumni over the years. We're very active in the sports programs. We're season ticket holders of football and basketball and attend lots of different sporting events. I'm also a director emeritus of the Rutgers University Foundation. So Rutgers is a big part of who we are and what we're about. It was a major part of our life and gave us a lot of opportunities. And thus we've since wanted to really give back and try to help the Rutgers community any way we can.
Well, how do you think Rutgers Sports is going to do this year?
Depends on the sport. Depends on the sport, but each one seems to be improving, and each one seems to be heading in the right direction. The last few years have been very exciting years for a lot of different sports, men's and women's soccer and wrestling and basketball and lacrosse, and there's lots of different opportunities for continued success and continued growth.
Okay, well, tell the listeners about your book. Tell us what we can expect when we read it and where we can get it from.
Sure. So the book is called The Life is Too Short Guy. It's available on Amazon as well as at barnesandnoble.com and some bookstores carry it, or you can go to my website, which is lifeistooshortguy.com, lifeistooshortguy.com, and you can reach out to me and I'd be happy to ship you signed copies as well. And the book is a very practical, approachable, easy to read guide to living a happier, more fulfilling life. It really focuses on day-to-day blocking and tackling across all elements of your life, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's work, whether it's home, family, whatever the case may be. And there are 10 principles that I identify as the core principles of the Life is Too Short Guy, or what I abbreviate as LITSIG, LITSG, LITSIG, and the LITSIG principles and philosophy. And then each of those core principles I illustrate with examples either from my own life or from the lives of other people, major aha moments that people have had in their life, setbacks or overcoming adversity, and what they learned from those experiences.
Well, can you kind of go through those 10 principles, or would that give away too much of the book?
I'd be happy to. Look, my goal is to make the world happier one smile at a time. And if people want to read the book, that's wonderful. If not, if they want to take some of these principles and apply them to their daily lives, that's wonderful too. The first principle, the underlying theme through the entire book, and I think probably the most important one, is attitude is everything, the power of positivity, and really talks about how much our attitude impacts our success, impacts our happiness, the way we view the world. And there are lots of lenses through which you could view the world. And attitude is everything, the power of positivity. The second one is very much related. It's called Choose Your Attitude and Own It. And I think most people don't realize how much of their attitude they control. They revert to blaming the world around them or the circumstances. The reality is you control so much of your own attitude and how you view the world. So choose your attitude and own it. The third principle is little things make a big difference. And I give lots of examples of small things that could really impact you and those around you. Things like smiling more often, things like whistling and singing, things like random acts of kindness. When was the last time you performed a random act of kindness? And do you realize how impactful it is on other people? Things like celebrate small wins, celebrate often, celebrate every day, find things to celebrate about. So little things make a big difference is the third principle. The fourth one is minutes matter. We each have a finite number of minutes in life, and we don't know how many minutes we have. I use the analogy of a barrel, and I tell people to picture a barrel. For me, it's a wine barrel. For you, it might be a different kind of barrel. And in that barrel are my remaining minutes. I picture gold coins as my remaining minutes. And the analogy is you don't know how many gold coins are in that barrel. And be careful because many of us allow those gold coins to leak out the bottom without realizing it. So minutes matter. It does not give a prescription for how to use your minutes. I think each person has to decide on their own. But I find too often people don't focus enough on how they're using their minutes. Are they using them wisely? Are they being deliberate? Are they being thoughtful? Are they being proactive? So minutes matter is the fourth principle. The fifth one is funny things are everywhere. I like to quote the great Dr. Seuss, from there to here, from here to there. Funny things are everywhere. Laugh every day. Laugh at yourself, laugh at the world around you, laugh often. Humor is such a great way to live a happier life. So find things to laugh at and laugh every day. So that's the first five. The back five, which are equally important, are learn, learn, learn. Find something new to learn constantly. Try to learn something new every day. Get outside your comfort zone. Get away from your core principles and competencies and learn something new. Let's see. So that's 6. 7 is passion. Find your passion. What is it that drives you, inspires you, motivates you? And your passions will change over time, Curtis. You don't have the same passion forever. But when I ask somebody, what's your passion? They can't answer it right away. I tell them today's the day to figure out what that passion is and embrace it and go after it and chase it. Let's see. What else do we have? We have live today, don't wait for tomorrow is I guess the 8th principle. Make the most of today because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So make sure that you embrace and you engage and live today, not worrying about tomorrow. What else do we have? What I miss? Can't make it alone. What a wonderful one. Can't make it alone really focuses on how we are a social community that interacts and how important it is to build strong social networks. I talk about the longest running study of what makes a good life. It started at Harvard in the late 1930s. It's still running 85 years later. And it follows the original study participants and then their children and grandchildren on what makes a good life. And the key takeaway from all this data is social relationships are more important than anything. Social relationships and the power of your social networks directly correlate to longevity, to health, to happiness, to mental health. And then the 10th one, the last one, is take a chance and get it done today. Too often we get caught up in fear and risk is a negative word instead of embracing opportunities. Take a chance and get it done today. So those are the the 10 principles of Litzig, and each one has some simple tools that you could apply. And as you listen to them, you probably can tell they're not that difficult to apply. They're the types of things that everyone can do. And that's my mission as I get out there and either you read the book or you hear me speak. I'm doing a lot of speaking these days, and you understand these are very practical, approachable, easy to use tools. That's my goal, is to change the world and make the world happier one smile at a time.
Okay, well, tell us about any current or upcoming projects that you're working on that listeners need to know about.
So this is the big project, is spreading this message, is getting out and telling this story. I would say to your listeners, to the extent that this is the type of message your team or your company or your organization might be interested in learning more about, I'd love for you to reach out to me. You could find me at lifeistooshortguy.com, and I am out on a speaking tour spreading this message. And that's my primary project right now. I think at some point in the not too distant future, I'll start working on another book. But for now, I'm really focused on spreading the message around the Life is Too Short guy, and trying to speak to as many people as possible, either through podcasts or media appearances or speaking engagements. I do keynotes, I do workshops, and that's really my big project right now.
Absolutely. Well, you gave out the website, so go ahead and close us out with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something that I forgot to talk about that you would like to touch on, or just any final thoughts you have for the listeners.
Look, the final thought, the most important thought is the name of the book, Life is Too Short. Go out and embrace today. Do something special. Do something to live a happier, more fulfilling life. Don't get caught up in the day-to-day grind and lose sight of what's important. Today's your day. This book talks about people's aha moments, major setbacks, major illness, major injury, those sorts of things. Don't wait for that. Today's your day. This message, this book is your aha moment. Go out and embrace it and make today the very best day ever, and then go to sleep and wake up tomorrow and do it again.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Life is definitely too short, so take advantage of every moment, every day, every opportunity that you have. Also, life is too short not to follow, rate, review, share this episode to as many people as possible. If you have any guests or suggestion topics, cjackson102@cox.net is the place to send them. As usual, thank you for listening. And Scott, thank you for joining us today and letting us know that life is too short.
My pleasure. Thanks, Curtis.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.